Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Let's get right into it. Let's talk Tuesday college basketball action. As I give you guys my best bets, March 11th plays for today's slate. We'll recap yesterday's games as well. And as we get deeper in these conference championships, it really does provide us a lot of healthy action every single day. Love these games. Love some of the competition that we've seen. Some great battles down the stretch. And we did see that last night with a couple teams. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to recap yesterday's plays. Before we do get into it though, guys, if you're new here on the program, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. These picks are completely free. I get to see the numbers. I know that 40% of you guys and gals are not subscribed. It does not cost you a dime. That's just a way that you can give back to the channel in return for these free picks and analysis, okay? So let's get into it. And also, if you're watching on X, make sure you follow me on that platform, on Twitter, whatever you want to call it. My handle is @TheBettorMark. You can find that in the bottom left of your screen. And let's get into the plays. And to do so, we are going to use OUTLIER. OUTLIER, in my opinion, is the best betting tool that you can possibly use. I have a link down below for a 7-day free trial. Try it out for 7 days. If you don't like it, you can cancel at any time, no questions asked. But you really should be using something such as OUTLIER. Not only does it save me hours when I'm handicapping each and every game, it also does provide a lot of analysis and insight along the way within stats and trends along the way, okay? So that's kind of what I have. Just a recap of yesterday. We did go 2-1. Unfortunately, those brooms are staying in the closet. That UNCW game that was on the late night card, 3.5 was what we laid. We had a 4-point lead with seconds left. And as UNCW made their 2 free throws to expand their lead to 4, just letting Charleston just walk up the court. And in that situation, you don't want to foul. You just don't want to give up a 4-point play. And that is exactly what basically happened as they let them walk down the court. And as time expired, they relinquished that 4-point lead and ended up covering the money line, but not the spread, as they won by 1 point to close out that game. So tough beat. I know a lot of you guys were riding on that play. I would bet it again. It was the correct side. 10-point lead at half. You can't really ask for more than that. And unfortunate, but hey, UNCW is back again today. They're a heavy favorite. So we're going to talk about the picks. I'll give you guys my 4 best bets. And I do apologize because one of the games is at 12:30 Eastern. So make sure you have that notification bell turned on. So when I do drop my video, you get it delivered directly to you, so it gives you enough time if you do want to tail in that action, okay? So let's get into the OUTLIER. Let's talk about exactly what's going on. We're going to get into the first game that I talked about, and that will be the Oklahoma State and Cincinnati game at 12:30. This is one where you look at the Cowboys, 15-16, 7-13 in conference, sharing the same conference record as Cincinnati. Cincinnati has been one of those Jekyll and Hyde teams, right? The tale of two halves. They were a great team early on, in my opinion, and then faltering late. They do have some issues on the injury front. And here they come into this spot as a 7.5-point favorite on a neutral. It's going to be something very interesting for me, just due to the fact that let's look at some past performances, okay? And this is where it's going to be very important, as we're going to take that 7.5 with Oklahoma State as an official bet. Head-to-head, you saw Oklahoma State winning both of the season games, 78-67 and 80-76 on the road against Cincinnati. Also, as an underdog, Oak State is 7-16, only covering 30.4% of the time in their last 23 games as an underdog. This is one for me, though, guys. It's almost a fade against Cincinnati. I think that Oklahoma State money line is live. I think 7.5 points is almost a number too good to be true. A little bit fishy, as a lot of these games and spots are on today's card, but I am going to take the 7.5 with Oklahoma State. One of my best bets that I will give out as an official play, and we'll see what happens with that one. As, like I said, I'm a little bit scared of it. It is fishy. I don't understand why this game is not closer. I'd have this possibly a 3.5 plus 3.5 Oak State. 7.5 is just too many points for my numbers, so I'm gonna take the points with the Cowboys as my first official play. Next game that we're going to talk about is a lean. Pittsburgh, Notre Dame. Notre Dame has been kind of hot as of late. it's been close, okay, and Notre Dame is grabbing 4.5 points is the best number available. And looking at Notre Dame, they've covered 3 out of their last 5. Pittsburgh's been on a little bit of a skid, dropping 4 of their last 5 ATS, 14-17 against the number on the season. Notre Dame 12-18. If we look at the head-to-head matchup between these two clubs, and I know I don't have an official play in this, but I do think it's relevant because this is one that almost made my card. Head-to-head, you saw Notre Dame winning 76-72 and losing by 10 on the road, taking on Pitt. Notre Dame is a surprisingly good underdog team for the style of basketball they play. Marcus Burton has been playing well as of recent. But for me, guys, this is something where we look into this spot. I just don't think this is one where, it gets too far out of hand, where Pittsburgh does dominate this game. There's a possibility of that, but I just don't think it's going to be that far off of that 4.5. So it's a pass based on the number. But if we want to look at the teams at face value, I would be fading the Fighting Irish. I just don't think they get this one going, as Notre Dame, has won their last 2 games, beating Cal in overtime, double overtime actually, and then winning with last possession heroics against the Stanford Cardinal. Okay, so that's kind of how I feel about it. For me, guys, I would be on the Pitt side, but laying 4.5 might be a little bit too big of a number for me, so I'm going to pass, but I do like the Panthers a little bit. Okay, next game we are going to get into, this is going to be one where we dive into the game between, go down the board a little bit, Vermont and Maine. Okay, now Vermont has a postseason streak that's worth talking about. And what I mean by that is they have a consecutive streak of making the big dance and winning their conference tournament, taking on the Maine Black Bears, laying 5.5 in this spot. I think that's the correct side. You can find a Vermont number at -5 as a whole number. That's kind of where I'm at. I think Vermont gets this one done. 5 points may be a little bit too much, but I think that if we want to just be honest with ourselves, Vermont's a better team. They should cover. You look at the head-to-head, they won by 4 and they won by 6. So closer affairs. I don't like the number just because of that, but I think Vermont is the correct side. I look for Vermont to win in advance. I just don't want to lay 5.5. I think the number's too spot on to be exact. So I'm going to pass on this game. I'm not opposed to a little money line. If you guys do money line winners, you take just money line winners and you take a money line winning parlay, Vermont in the mix would definitely be an option. But I'm going to pass on the 5.5. Okay. Then we will get into our second official play. This is YSU and Robert Morris. I said over in Discord last night, I could not wait to see who won between YSU and Cleveland State. Did not have a play in that game, but I wanted to see the Penguins advance just because I wanted to lay the wood there with Robert Morris. -165 is too big for me in terms of a dollar amount for the money line. But Robert Morris, the clear-cut best team there in the Horizon League for my money. And this is one where we're going to lay Robert Morris. This is a multi-unit play for me, taking the Colonials -3.5, -3. You can find juiced up. So I do want to lay Robert Morris -3.5 at a -105 price. I'm not scared of the number. We'll take the lower juice. And I think this is almost one where you could look into alternate numbers for Robert Morris, and they may actually pull away and win this one by 8+ points. So I do like me some Robert Morris action here. It's going to be a tough spot for YSU to bounce back from too. They had the late game against Cleveland State down to the wire. They really struggled to score early. They can't shoot the 3 ball. They can't shoot free throws. I just think that Robert Morris is the clear-cut class of the conference. I don't agree with the number. This is a fishy spot as well, but give me the Colonials -3.5 as my second official play. Next play we will have is with Florida State. Syracuse is god-awful. Florida State, as we all know, replacing their head coach. For me, guys, this is something where we're going to be on Florida State right here as a -3 number. I did find -3 a little earlier in the day, so that will be the official number I give out on the channel. If you do want to lay the 3.5, I don't mind that as well. And that will be a firm play for me on my card, as I like the Florida State Seminoles to advance and win this game. I think it's something where you look into kind of where Florida State is looking into the possibility of what's going to happen. You don't know the head coaching situation. They have more of a motivational factor to play, and I think that it's one of those. They're one of those clubs that falls into categories where if they don't win, they're probably not in. So they're not going to probably win the ACC tournament, but I think in terms of these early rounds, Florida State is definitely one of those teams that I do favor. So give me Florida State, better team. Syracuse is god-awful, atrocious. Give me Florida State to kind of get this one done, and I really want to lean on that FSU defense to really smother down the Orange in this spot. So give me Florida State -3 as an official play. All right, next one, a little bit deeper into the card. This is where we're going to look into Gonzaga and St. Mary's, okay? We look at the kind of how the betting splits are. This is one that did kind of rub me the wrong way, a little contrarian. For me and my money, I'd be on the St. Mary's Gals getting some points. You can find a 4 out there if you wanted it, but there's some sharp action on Gonzaga. Probably one of the more, I guess you would say, betting splits that does kind of tell more of the story, as we see the 72% of the money is on Gonzaga, albeit 37% of the bets, and that's kind of where Gonzaga is a sharp play, okay? So as much as my numbers tell me St. Mary's is the correct side, I'm going to trust the money. We're going to follow the money on this one. Gonzaga -3.5 would be my best bet, but we are going to take the over in this spot, and I did lay I did lay some -110 action on the over. 136.5 is my best number that I found. So I took over 136.5, -110 in Gonzaga, St. Mary's, and that is my last official play of today's card. Okay, a couple other games of note that we want to talk about. You could look into Western Kentucky. I know it's ugly. It stinks like hell, but Florida International +4.5. That's kind of where you look at their record, 9-22, 3-15 in conference. I do think this is a lean towards FIU. Fading the Hilltoppers in this spot, that's something that I did think about playing, but did not make my card, okay? And that would probably be my last lean that I would give out on the channel. So just a quick recap. Let's wrap it up and get you guys out of here. Before we do, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Join us here at TBM Sports. The plays of the day. Robert Morris. This will be a multi-unit play. We're going to double down on the Colonials. 2-unit play, -3.5 at -105. Gonzaga, St. Mary's, we're going over 136.5. Florida State -3, and Oklahoma State in that early tip-off. We're going to be grabbing the 7.5 points at a -110 price. So appreciate you guys. Good luck with your tickets. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we keep this momentum going. We've been on a pretty good run here as we get into the later part of the season. But those are my best bets, and we will see you guys all tomorrow in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.